Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this week's live. I'm going to take these off because they are glaring. But welcome to the show. Hello, Linda. See, you are already here, and we are ready to go. We are here and ready to talk about cruising.
Yes.
You ready to talk about cruising?
Yes.
Because it's been an interesting week in cruising. It's been like, they say things happen in threes.
Okay.
You ever heard that before?
I've heard that.
The things happen in threes? Well, for cruise ships, it's been that way this week. The Norwegian Prima, she was tied up in Belgium. She snapped her mooring lines,
That's not good.
started drifting away from the dock, dumped two of the, I just went completely stumped for words. Gangways.
Gangways.
Dropped them in the harbor. That was one.
That's not good.
Nope. Then the Scarlet Lady from Virgin Voyages. She hit the dock in Miami. Hello, Cody. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. And we have our third one, the Carnival Pride. She's having some engine problems, and now she is limping, and I mean limping, back to Germany. They've already had to cancel the next cruise. And it's super funny. She just actually got out of dry dock, too.
Wow.
Went to a big refurbishment in dry dock, and yeah. Now she's limping back. They've already had to cancel the next cruise over this. As I said, it comes in threes, and when it comes to cruise ships, it still comes in threes. So it's been an interesting week. We've had some news. I know we were supposed to be heading to North Carolina this Sunday. All that's been canceled. Unfortunately, we will be here. Hello, Dale. Welcome to the show. So we will be here. No North Carolina trip, so we won't have any Blue Ridge Mountain stuff, any of that. It's an unfortunate incident. There was a death in the family. It was on my daughter's husband's side of the family, but they have to go take care of that, so we have to postpone North Carolina. Now, there's going to be a little surprise that comes from that later. Tiffany doesn't know yet, and we'll just leave it at that. I don't want to ruin it for her. But she may have a surprise coming at some point because Grandma was pretty disappointed. She is not going to see grandbabies next week, wasn't she?
I can't talk.
She yelled at me like several times this afternoon because she was so grumpy and mad. Weren't you? But so no North Carolina trip next week, so we're going to have to rethink next week. All right, good evening, Robert. Welcome to the show. Now, I've been asking her if she wants me to take her anywhere else she wants to go, but so far I haven't gotten anything out of her. She's still in disappointing mode, and until I get her out of disappointment mode, she gets stubborn, don't you? Start digging in your heels, and you don't want to do nothing. She's like a little kid. I won't go nowhere. That's what she told me. But we have been looking at booking cruises. So we are coming up on the cruise booking season again. Now, I'm not sure if we're going to sail again here in 2023. The Discovery Princess in Alaska. If you are interested, I will send the pictures to you. Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you don't mind, they're great pictures, everything like that. I'll be happy to use those pictures too. And, of course, give you credit for using those pictures. Yeah, if anybody wants to send us videos, pictures, anything like that, if we end up using it, of course, you will get 100% full credit for anything that we send you. But yeah, absolutely. We're always interested in stuff that people see. It is in the description to this video. You'll see down there at the bottom, it says how to contact us. Our Facebook, email, and all of that is right there in the description to any one of our videos. Well, if I use them, I'm still going to say, hey, so-and-so sent me this picture because you guys took it. I think you deserve credit.
Yes.
Anyway, absolutely. But we are looking at some. Now, I'm not 100% sure we are going to cruise again here in 2023. I'm kind of leaning on that a little bit. Good evening. Welcome to the show. Glad everybody is here with us tonight. I'm thinking maybe September. I always cruise on my birthday.
Yes.
I always take a cruise for my birthday.
It's a big birthday.
Oh, that's true. I'm going to be 25.
Times 2.
Way to throw me under the bus, huh? She just means 25.
Grandchildren trump everything. Not even the mouse can change this.
You know, I offered to take her to see the mouse. I did. I said, look, we got the whole week. You sure you don't want me to take you to see Mickey? I will take you to, and if she wants, I will take her to see Mickey. We're all going to drive to North Carolina anyway. It's really no difference if we go to Florida instead and let her see Mickey for, a day or two. Now she's thinking about it. I see it in her face. You're thinking about Mickey now.
No.
But found some really good cruises. I think we will probably do one in September.
Okay.
And then we're definitely going to start looking at the 2024 cruising season, because for the ships that I'm interested in, the ones that are sailing out of Galveston, closest and most convenient, there's quite a few there that I have not sailed on. You haven't sailed on them yet either. I don't know if you'll go on all of them. That, of course, is up to you. But I found some good prices. I mean, Royal Caribbean's got a cruise on Voyager of the Seas. It's a short cruise, 4 or 5 nights. But $211 per person? Not bad. Not bad at all. But we're looking at Voyager of the Seas, the Regal Princess, Harmony of the Seas, the Norwegian Prima, and then, of course, the Carnival Jubilee.
Yes.
Because she is getting ready to float out on her way here. There's a lot of cruise ships fixing to come out. They did some updating today on the Disney Treasure.
Okay.
The theme of the Disney Treasure, because this is Tiffany's favorite subject, is going to be adventure.
I like it.
The 2 characters on the back is Captain Hook and Peter Pan. And they're going to have a haunted mansion themed bar on board the ship.
Oh, we gotta go try that.
Yeah, because you remember on the Disney Wish, it's Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on the Disney Treasure, it's going to be the Haunted Mansion. If they do it right, there's a lot of potential there. If they do it right and they make the room spooky, and of course, all the drinks need to smoke, they need to have the ghosts somehow incorporated in there. It'll be really cool, but they have to increase the size.
Mm-hmm.
One of the largest complaints on the Disney Wish with the Star Wars bar is it's simply too small.
It's popular. They maybe didn't think it was going to be that popular.
Yeah, I don't think they thought that through and realized it was going to be as popular as it is. And the number of people that want to go in there and want to experience it just cannot all get in there at the same time. So, bit of a problem. I'm hoping that they take that information and they've incorporated it into the new ship.
I'd like to see how they incorporate Peter Pan, on the Wish. No, yes, the Wish. They do the Midnight Kiss because it's Cinderella themed ship. So I'd like to see how they incorporate something like that. Maybe do Tinkerbell up there or something.
Yeah, I mean, for all the problems that Disney has, and prices go up, and their movies and shows are all having problems. The Imagineers are always on point. I think the Imagineers do a really good job, and luckily, the majority of Disney problems are not affecting the cruise line.
Yeah,
I mean, Disney cruises are awful. They're always been horribly expensive. But the Imagineering is really there, and Disney service is top notch. You're just paying a premium for it. A lot of times more than you would pay for even, what they would consider a luxury cruise. I mean, Disney's no joke on their price, but their Imagineers do a really good job. So I got to give them credit for that.
not a Disney fan, but I still love Star Wars. A Star Wars related cruise ship would be awesome and probably overpriced.
That's true. Now, Disney does do Star Wars at sea. It's not every sailing. It's usually out of Tampa. I want to say that's the Disney Wonder or the Magic. One of those two. Actually, I think they changed it for this upcoming year with the new ships. I think they moved it up to the Dream. But they do Star Wars Day at Sea. So, but yeah, they are severely overpriced compared to other cruise lines.
You could take your lightsaber for that.
I don't know what she's talking about. I'm not that kind of guy. It's not like I have one in the other room and got it last time we went to Star Wars. That's not true.
Built it yourself.
There's no pictures of that on the internet. I promise. Yeah, I'm a big Star Wars fan too. I am. So, and Disney cruises, they're not for everybody. They're for Tiffany. That's a Tiffany cruise all day, every time. When we go on a Disney cruise, that is for her. But don't get me wrong, I don't mind that service. I don't mind the quality. I don't mind seeing characters walking around the ships.
He doesn't mind the Mickey bars either.
I don't mind the free Mickey bars on the ship either. That's true. I can be bought with ice cream. I'm not, that's not a secret. Right?
We're doing a Disney cruise in October. Yes, overpriced, but the kids should like it. Definitely.
Kids will love it. I enjoyed it as an adult. Now, as long as you accept the fact that there's going to be more children on board the ship than just about any other cruise line, because it, caters to them. But Tiffany and I have gone on Disney cruises with no kids, just her and I. We still get in line, see the characters, meet the characters. There's videos of her, just Tiffany, no kids, down there hanging out with Disney princesses. It's fun.
Do they have an actual BB-8 roaming around the ship?
I do not know the answer to that. I saw one at Disney World. I don't know if there's actually one on board the ship. That's a good question.
You saw Darth Vader too.
Yeah, I've seen Darth Vader, but
it's very intimidating.
But we're talking about on the ship.
I know.
Yeah, we have not done Star Wars Day at Sea. They don't do that out of Galveston, and so until Tiffany's ready to go to Florida and do some Disney sailings, I don't know. We'll get to see that. Like I said, they don't do it a whole lot. They don't do it on every sailing, but it's super popular. They also do Marvel at Sea. Now they do Pixar at Sea.
I think so.
Excuse me. So they're doing more kinds of theming party. What about the Hallmark at Sea?
That would be an interesting one if you are into the Hallmark Christmas movies. They're doing a Hallmark sailing at Christmas.
Well, it's actually in the beginning of November.
Beginning of November.
It's like November 5th through the 9th.
Yes.
On the Norwegian Gem, sailing out of Miami in 2024. But they're doing like Hallmark movie marathons. They're going to be supposed to be Hallmark stars on the board. They haven't said which ones, but some Hallmark stars. And they're going to be premiering a brand new Hallmark movie on board the ship in the main theater. Mm-hmm. So Tiffany loves those Hallmark movies. Halloween ends, the Christmas Hallmark movie series begins.
Halloween doesn't even end.
See? And boop, she's in front of the TV watching Hallmark movies. Cruise is the only way I'll get her to move out from in front of that.
Heard it's sold out with a waiting list.
Wow, already?
See, I'm not the only one.
I guess not.
And yes, all the movies are the same plot, but
I went to a small town. I met a Christmas tree farmer. It snowed. There was love. I quit my job in the big city. The end. That is the plot to every one of them, and they all have Lacey Chabert in them. Or Candace Cameron.
Right.
Yeah, there you go. I knew she got married at like some point. That's like the two that you'll see in like 95% of those movies.
Actually, Candace is not on Hallmark anymore.
Oh, that's right. She moved to Lifetime. I'm not mocking the movies. I'm just telling you what I saw. Okay, there's a Hallmark fan in here. I've got to stop. We're going to get the thumbs down on the video. We're going to get a negative review here if I keep. Believe me, I only do it really to get Tiffany's goat. But yeah, she watches them, and I will spend 2 months avoiding the living room. Because she will take control of the TV, and there's no getting it back. But wow. So, really, really popular that it is sold out already.
You were laughing about it.
I was. I mean, there's some of those same ones that you think, okay, how popular is this going to be? I'm out. I'm getting ganged up on here. Nope, I'm done. Hallmark is the best. Y'all win. there's some of those, you wonder how popular they really going to be. And apparently Hallmark is one of them. Hallmark is one of them. Wow, so I guess you're not going on the Hallmark cruise unless you get on the waiting list.
No.
That I find that super interesting. I had no idea that would catch on so quickly. Well, but the thing is, this could be when they do really well like that. You'll see them again. There's a chance you will see it again, because if it filled up that fast and it's already a waiting list, that's letting Norwegian know. That's letting the Hallmark Channel know that, hey, we put this out, people will come. And if people will come and everybody's making money, it's business is business. They'll do it again. They will absolutely do it again.
Chris understands the Hallmark cookie cutter movie formula.
Chris already had to give that one up. I'm going to get in trouble if I keep up with making fun of that. But yeah. Snowman, 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 snowman. Christmas tree, Christmas tree, Christmas tree. I think it's always the same small town, too.
No.
I think it is.
They move around.
From one small town to another small town?
Yeah.
Okay. But that brings us to some interesting cruising next year. And, of course, we got a Florida time. We got to do Florida next year, too.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get on that Virgin Voyage.
It's an escape. Yes.
Okay. I watched those for that escape. So that part I completely understand and get.
And don't let him fool you. He likes the 9 Lives of Christmas.
Is that the one with the cat?
Yes.
See, that's how many times she's made me watch it. It's the cat one. I know. I don't know the name of it. I guess it's the 9 Lives, but it's the one with the cat. You're getting me way off track. I'm trying to talk about Virgin Voyages.
Yes, okay. So Virgin Voyages.
And that gives us, how many does that give us? 1, 2. That's like 7 so far for next year.
Has anyone ever been on the Carnival Elation? We're thinking of cruising her since we just happen to be in Jacksonville for the next several months. It's a small ship, but looks nice.
I have not done the Elation, but I have done the Ecstasy, which is also a fantasy class ship. And I will tell you, I loved the fantasy class ship. I wish I had spent more time sailing on fantasy classes because I didn't realize that I was going to love it as much until I sailed on her. And fantasy class ships have a true cult following, in my opinion. The people that love those fantasy class ships from Carnival love them. Mm-hmm. I mean, they just love them to death. They will skip every other ship out there sometimes to sail on one of those fantasy class ships. So,
Elation was my favorite still to this day.
There you go. I tell you, people that love those fantasy class, they love them. They love them. So, yeah, if you're thinking about sailing on the Elation, I would absolutely say it's completely worth it just to be a fantasy class ship.
We sailed on out of New Orleans. And
I'll say this much, too. The fantasy class ships, their life expectancy it's coming to an end, more closer and closer every year. Eventually, the fantasy class ships are going to be gone. If you have an opportunity to sail on one and you've never done so before, highly recommend you do it at least once, because I didn't realize what I was missing until I sailed on one. And I've sailed on newer ships from Carnival and the other cruise lines, and I still would go back on the Ecstasy for sure. If she was to pull into port and be like, hop on board, I would. So I like the fantasy class ship. Because, I don't know, there was just something about it. I don't even know that I can pinpoint what it was.
I wasn't with you, so I can't help you.
But it was just, I just liked it. I liked everything about it. It just felt like a good ship. I like the layout. I like the decorations, and decorations they're dated. You can tell. It's not new. The Ecstasy wasn't new. I can't say for the Elation, but I liked it the way it was. Mm-hmm. I'm glad they didn't do a whole lot to it. Plus, those fantasy class ships have a lot of history behind them. They've been out there for years and years and years. And I've told this story before.
You two have a nice night.
Have a good night. You know, it's funny. We told this story probably months ago, maybe a year ago. When we first started cruising, we pulled into Nassau, Bahamas, and we were on the Disney Fantasy at that time. And I want to say it was either the Elation or the Sensation was important. It might have been the Elation. It was actually in Nassau when we pulled in there. We looked at that ship and said, wow, ship looks old. It doesn't look good. Remember I was talking about it? It doesn't even have, a bunch of balconies on it, this and that. I don't know if we'd ever want to cruise on that. And realized, boy, that looks were deceiving, and I was so wrong.
Have you ever sailed out of Vancouver? And if so, does it live up to its bad reputation for disorganization and long wait lines?
No, we sailed out of Seattle. I actually want to sail out of Vancouver. And I don't know, maybe it's an East Coast thing. I don't know. But to me, Seattle seemed... West Coast. Yeah, I'm sorry. I got my sides of the country wrong. When we sailed out of Seattle, we kind of felt like it was a little bit disorganized, and it was a little bit of longer lines than we're used to sailing out of Galveston. And a couple times we sailed out of Florida. I don't know if it's just, the way they operate over there. I don't know.
My understanding is since the Elation is small, there's a higher crew to guest ratio, so the service is said to be very tentative. That's what I've heard.
Every small ship we've sailed on, even when we were on Royal Caribbean's Grandeur of the Seas and any of the small ships, yeah, that's absolutely true. The attention from the crew, the attitude from the crew, the quality of the crew, not that crew quality is bad, but I've always felt like the service was so much better on the smaller ships. It's just like more one-on-one crew time.
Good thing the Jacksonville Bridge is close to the water. The Elation is low enough to just barely fit under the bridge. Any newer ship would not fit under the bridge since they are so tall.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
On embarkation day, an initial bank hold of up to 200. Is that per stateroom or per guest to make sure the card is valid?
It's per card. So if you have two people in a stateroom, but let's say you're using your own separate accounts, they're going to put a hold on each card. In the case of like Tiffany and I, we just travel under one card. It's per card would be the way that is, or per account.
And the Blue Iguana and all the good restaurants.
Yes.
California Linda shares if it's more of a port issue sailing out of San Francisco to Alaska.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. I just thought it would be, I guess we got used to being so fast and smooth the way it is here. Mm-hmm. They really have it dialed in. When we were in Florida, it really felt like they had it dialed in. And then we went to Seattle, and it did not feel as dialed in. Mm-hmm. I guess that's about the best way to say it. We kind of want to try Vancouver next time we do Alaska, simply because I'd like to spend a little more time in Canada.
Yes.
That operational stop that a lot of the cruise lines do coming back, when they stop in Victoria or someplace like that. You're only there, 4 hours at most. That's purely an operational stop to meet legal requirements. I mean, even the cruise lines will tell you, yeah, I mean, we don't even, consider it much of a stop. It's just a quick stop, the requirement stop. Yeah. So you don't really get to enjoy Canada. So I was thinking if we sailed from Vancouver, we go in a couple days early and get to spend a little extra time in Canada.
Debbie prefers the smaller ships. California Linda was saying it's easy. The airport is so far from the port in Seattle.
It was what, 20 minutes?
Well, it was almost 20 minutes from the airport to the hotel.
But when we took the shuttle back, it didn't seem like it was all that long.
It was about 30.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
mean, I know when we got to Seattle, we took the Uber from the airport to the hotel, but there was a lot of traffic. Mm-hmm. going in, so it was pretty. It took a while to get to the hotel. Maybe that's why I think the shuttle back to the airport felt faster because we didn't have all that traffic.
The Pride and Legend are also just barely fit under the bridge in Baltimore too. It almost looks like the ship is going to hit, but of course it does.
I've seen videos. I'd actually like to be on one and then be up there on the top deck when you go into the bridge. That would be
Expensive Uber and taxi.
Oh, what was our Uber ride?
80.
No, it wasn't that much. It was it was 45. Well, yeah, the taxi to the hotel was like 45.
Yeah.
The shuttle was more expensive, I thought.
Yeah.
Because you pay per ticket. But
they took care of all of our luggage too.
No, that wasn't the shuttle. That was the Seattle. Now I can't even remember what it's called now. You got me all kinds of thrown off. Yeah, we've decided, especially after the last airport transfer that we did out of Seattle, we will only Uber from now on. We will only Uber. No more airport shuttles. None of that stuff.
Desiree, hi there. I caught you guys live.
Hi, welcome to the show. You know, when we got off to get on the airport shuttles, you got to get in line, wait for the shuttle, get on board, wait for everybody to get settled. And we waited for quite a while just to get our shuttle last time. And the whole time the Ubers are just sitting there ready to go. The taxis were there, the Ubers were there, just waiting. And no wait whatsoever. So we will just continue to Uber everywhere we go. For us, it's been the easiest, fastest, most convenient way to get around when we're not at home.
Andre wants to know, do you think it would be better adding cash to your child account or putting a credit card on their account?
Okay. For most cruise lines, you can set a child limit. So if you don't want to pay two separate ways, you can actually go in there and have a limit put on your child. So you can, say, all right, they're only allowed to charge $20 a day, $30 a day, whatever you want it set to. You can actually set it that way. So you can do it completely separately like that. You even have the option to not give your child charging privileges at all, set a limit, or do cash. When we did travel with the kids, they either had a limit and we just left it that way. Because where they're really going to blow it is the arcade is the one that kids usually spend the most in, and that adds up really, really quickly. So if you do put them on a card, definitely put them on a limit.
Debbie says her taxi was cheaper than the Uber, so we might need to check that.
Yeah, sometimes they are. We'll kind of compare the two. The only reason I really like the Uber personally is I can go in the night before that I know we need it and actually schedule it for a certain time. So like when we went from the hotel to the cruise ship, I went in the night before and said, I'd like you to pick us up at 11 o'clock. We went out there at 10:50 and he was standing there waiting for us. Mm-hmm. So that's the one thing I like about Uber is just the ease and convenience of being able to schedule some things, not have to look for a taxi, find a taxi. And yeah, some are cheaper than others. I completely understand that. But I'm also willing to pay a little extra for convenience and peace of mind.
Best New England cruises. Any thoughts?
Haven't been on one, so I don't have any factual information to share. But if anybody's actually been on a New England cruise, definitely share that with us. The one I would think, the one I hear the best about is you have to do it in the fall.
The leaves.
So you get the color change in the leaves. Those are the ones that I heard are just the beautiful ones to go on. You get up there in Canada and you just get that gorgeous leaf changes.
It's hella fun. Can my wife put a limit on my card when I'm in the casino? It's like a big.
If she is the account holder and she booked the cruise, actually, yes, she can. Yes, she actually can. Because when I book the cruises, I have to give Tiffany permission. I don't know if I can set her a limit, though. But I could say I have to give her actual permission to use it because I did the booking. So Theoretically, yes, she could cut you off if she did the booking.
California Linda strongly agrees shuttles take more time as they want to maximize the number of passengers, and Uber is more efficient.
Yeah, and like I said, I can schedule it ahead of time, get it where I want it to get. It's just Tiffany and I know, and if we're tired, we're in a hurry, or we just kind of want to chill out, after disembarkation or anything like that, Uber just works best for us for convenience wise, and I'm willing to pay a few extra dollars just to not put up with some of the BS.
So my favorite is the Canadian route from Boston or New York to Quebec, and doing the back-to-back from Quebec to either Boston or Fort Lauderdale. We are waiting for 2025.
Yeah, I've heard beautiful things about it. That's another cruise that is on our bucket list. We just haven't made it up there yet. Now, I know we talked about it about last week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. If we do end up moving out to the East Coast, then ports like Baltimore will be ones that we will frequent much more often. That's when we'll be doing Baltimore. We'll be doing Norfolk if there's ships out of there. Charleston, if they have ships come back in after they refurb in 2024. Jacksonville, which is where we could go to get the Elation. She will probably be there probably for the remainder of her life if they don't rotate her out because of the bridge issue. Like, we just can't bring other bigger ships in. So some of those ports will always have littler ships.
The fun says, don't tell her.
I won't. I will never tell.
Have y'all done a Disney cruise? We've done 4.
4. We've done the Fantasy, the Dream, the Magic, and the Wonder. So we have done 4 Disney cruises. We can't, as you can see from our Disney Princess right here. That was actually the very first cruise that either one of us did, believe it or not. I did the Disney Wonder in 2006, was my very first cruise, and Tiffany's very first cruise was the Disney Fantasy in 2016. I got to introduce her to cruising.
He created this monster.
And she's been hooked ever since, and cruising on every Disney cruise ship is Tiffany's bucket list item. That is her bucket list item. So we're working on it. We got to do the Wish, and then once the Wish is done, once the Treasure's done, we'll do the Treasure.
I want the Wish to have more than just 3 days, though.
Yeah, Disney's notorious for that. They bring out when they brought out the Wish, it only does 3 and 4 day cruises. It goes to Nassau, their private island, and back. Doesn't go anywhere else yet. Not interested in that short of a sailing, and not going to Florida and paying Disney prices to sell for 3 days. Not even worth it.
I love that, especially the second cruise all the way to Florida.
Been trying to talk Tiffany into some back-to-back repositioning cruises. I found a bunch of repositioning cruises.
Yeah, but my job kind of hinders.
That's because you have to do like I do.
I
don't request vacation. I inform them of my absence.
I understand that, but
Say, hey guys, I will not be here for May.
I can't do that.
And if you give me too much about it, I may not come back for June. Keep it up. Right?
I do good to get a week. 2 weeks is pushing it.
They're good to get me to show up for 2 weeks. Luckily, I'm not that important. Hey. I'm retired from anything full-time, official, anything like that. So when I go to work, it's just to get a paycheck.
What amenities does Disney offer that difference from other cruises?
Ooh. Okay. So if you've never been on, Disney is all about theming. So as far as your basic cruise ship stuff, it's kind of the same. Cabins, inside, ocean view, balcony, or veranda, as they call it, suites. It's just their biggest thing, of course, is their theming. Everything about the ship is themed. Your cabin is Disney themed. The hallways, the carpets, There's a lot of interactive stuff on the ship. I mean, there's pictures that change when you walk up to them. They move. There's some that talk to you. Their kids clubs are super themed. Some of their big differences, they do rotational dining, which is a big thing. You go to a different dining room every night. The dining rooms are themed. Their shows are all Disney Broadway production shows. They do Star Wars stuff, Star Wars, Marvel, Pixar. It's really all about their theming in the Disney experience. And of course, you're going to have Mickey Mouse. So all of your, the Fab Five are always on the ship. So your Disney, your Mickey, Minnie, Daisy, Donald, Pluto, Goofy, Chippendale. You're always going to have characters. You can interact with characters, Disney princesses. It's not necessarily that their amenities are a whole lot different than other cruise lines, but the experience can be a whole lot different if you're a Disney fan, because everything is Disney. Absolutely everything. If you haven't been on one and you're interested, I've got videos in there from the Disney Magic and the Disney Wonder. Even if you just look at the ship tours, you'll see that they just theme everything. Everything has got something to do with something involved in Disney. Mm-hmm. But they're more expensive, but their service is also 5-star. 5-star across the board. But they also fail in a couple spots, I think. I honestly think Disney fails in a couple spots. The food in the main dining room, the service in the main dining room, spectacular. But you just want those grab-and-go bites. Disney doesn't do as good. Disney does, they serve a burger, they serve fries, they serve chicken nuggets, but it's not Guy's Burgers. It's not Blue Iguana. It's not Sorrento's. It's not some of the other ones on the other cruise ships that are just a lot better. In my opinion only, the pizza place, Pinocchio's Pizzeria, got the worst pizza at sea. But that's just me.
Do we have itineraries or the itineraries that you mentioned for New England, are they on Princess?
I do know Princess does do New England cruises. They definitely do New England cruise. Pretty much all of the cruise lines do it, even down to smaller cruise lines do it, because there's the boutique cruise lines will do New England cruises as well. And sometimes on the smaller boutique cruise lines, you can go to some ports that the bigger cruise ships can't get to. Because there are some ports up there that don't want these 5,000 passenger ships in their towns.
Alien Frequency stepped out to go eat and discuss the Elation.
Gotcha.
And then at Klondike, the 2024 season is available now. However, we are doing a side-to-side next year, Australia and the South Pacific.
Ooh! I'd like to do Australia.
Yes.
I'd like to grab Australia on a reposition, though. Either go to Australia, do a cruise, and then reposition with the ship, or reposition to Australia, do a cruise, and fly back. That's what I would like to do. Well, I'm sure you guys have seen it. If you look at the repositioning cruises between Australia and the West Coast, there are cruise stops in there that just do not show up on a lot of itineraries. You don't see a lot of stops at, Fiji and some of those other places that are in between there. You really only get those and see those on those repositioning cruises. And so I think it's a good opportunity to visit some of those places. You got to go on those kinds of cruises to get them.
You're right, Chris. The pizza is just okay on Disney, and the lunch buffet just middle of the road, but the MDR experience makes up for it mostly.
Right. I completely agree. That's where you're going to get your best food and your absolute best service, and they do shows in the dining room. Love the main dining rooms, but the eats in between are they're not as exciting. No. And if you're looking at, when you're comparing two cruise lines and deciding, okay, what's important to you, versus, what you get and what you don't get. For Tiffany and I, yeah, Tiffany will go on a Disney cruise because it's Disney. But if we're actually going, okay, what kind of experience do we want to have? Because eating is a big thing for us. We want to eat good food when we're on cruise ships. We don't want to get on board and the food suck. So we're talking good food, and that's what we're looking for on the cruise. And a lot of times we will look at another cruise line where you pay way less for your ticket, and I think the food options are better. So, because I offered Tiffany a Disney cruise in 2024, and even she said no.
How do you feel about Princess Cruises coming to Yorktown?
To Yorktown, Virginia. I actually did not know they were going to go to Yorktown, but for folks in that area, a Princess ship is a good deal. I like Princess. We had a great time on Discovery. I'm a huge fan of the Princess Plus package. It completely works for us. I like the gratuities being prepaid through it, being included. I like having the Wi-Fi because I use it for work, for the show. I like the drink package, even though we don't drink alcohol. Maybe 2 drinks the entire cruise. I still liked having the drink package as part of it because Tiffany can drink all the coffee she wants. I can walk up to any bar, get an energy drink or whatever I wanted. She could just get bottles of water all day long, all included. I liked it. And you get the premium desserts, which seems like a little thing, but we've eaten those more than one time, and we've enjoyed those premium desserts. That premium gelato, not bad.
No,
not bad at all. They give you 2 of those a day. Personally, they are so rich and so big, never could eat 2 a day, but so I'm a huge fan of Prince. The International Cafe, 24 hours ability to get something, 24 hours a day. It's number 1 in my book right there. I will always agree. Love it that, if I'm thirsty at 3 a.m. or I need a bite at 3 a.m. because I get up super early, I can get it. I don't have to wait for something. So Princess has a ton of good things going for them, in my opinion, for that.
Is Yorktown a cruise port? I enjoyed Yorktown as part of our land vacation last year.
The only one I know is a cruise port in Virginia is Norfolk.
They're trying to make it one.
Oh, okay. I know there's been a lot of places that have asked to be a cruise port, especially with Charleston shutting down for them to redo their harbor. I know a lot of places up and down there, if they could get a cruise ship and the cruises would go in there, it would make a lot of people on the East Coast happy because it puts them something between Jacksonville and basically Baltimore. Because even Norfolk, the Carnival Magic is just now there consistently. She would come for a while and she would leave. So it would be nice it would be nice if they could get a couple other ones over there. And Virginia would be close right there at Norfolk. And it wouldn't surprise me. It's got to be getting crowded in some of these other cruise ports. New cruise ships are constantly coming out. And so these new cruise ports, if they can get them opened up, they won't have, the brand new cruise ships. But a lot of times, the brand new cruise ships may not always be the way to go.
Right.
Because, like I said, I was looking for, what cruise do I want to go on in January? Because I like to cruise in January. Royal Caribbean's Voyager of the Seas, definitely not one of her new ships, but I've never sailed on Voyager of the Seas, so I definitely want to go on it, do a ship tour. I found that one for $211 per person in January of 2024. You won't find that on a brand new cruise ship.
What's our best experience on a cruise ship?
Ooh. Wow, what would be our best experience on a cruise ship? Because we've never had a bad one. We've had some moments.
What's your experience is what you make it. I mean, there's been times when we've been...
But which was our best? All right. I'll have to give you one of... I would say this was probably our best. And this was actually on Disney. It was on the Disney Wonder. Yes. We went on Disney Wonder. We went on the Disney Wonder right after the restart of cruising. We went on it in January, 6 months after cruising restarted. But the ships, Disney at that time was still doing really, really low, reduced capacity. They still required the vaccines and you had to have your vaccine cards and you had to test and all that other kind of stuff. So, that was putting a lot of people off from cruising. So when we went on that ship, we were at 30% capacity. So it honestly felt like we had the Disney Wonder all to ourselves. I mean, so we were front row for every show. We didn't wait in line for anything. It was like Disney was putting an experience on just for us.
Yes.
I mean, Tiffany could pretty much walk up. You couldn't stand side by side with the characters, but you could get up and have conversations with them, at a 6-foot distance. I mean, Tiffany could go up and talk to every character. There was never a line for any of them.
I won a game show.
She got to be on a game show on the ship. We were on the raffle and bingo that cruise because just wasn't as many people on. So I would say being so few people on a cruise ship had to have been one of our best experiences. I would have to go with that.
5K that one too.
We did the 5K that cruise, but I think that was probably our best one. What do you think?
I think so, because just the experience with not being at 100% capacity is so much different. Only done DCL. What CL do you recommend that is kind of similar to DCL, customer service, food, cleanliness?
None. Not in probably what you're... Here's the problem with Disney Cruise Lines. If you start with Disney Cruise Lines, and that is the one you sailed on the most, then it's hard to compare the others to Disney because Disney's all about the Disney experience. The others are not about the Disney experience. They're about the cruising experience. So it's really kind of depending on what you're looking for. If you're looking for, activity, you can take kids with you. So if you're going to take kids, you don't want Holland America. You don't want Princess Cruise Lines. You don't want ones like that. They're not as into the kids' activities as Carnival, Royal, and some of those other ones, that have kids' activities, kids' pools, water slides, stuff like that you just won't find on some cruise lines. Like Princess, they don't do water slides. Norwegian Cruise Lines, you can do bumper cars. Carnival, you can do roller coasters. Really all depends on what you're looking for. They all, in my opinion, have something to offer. We have not gone on a cruise line and gone, we will never cruise this cruise line again. We have found something awesome about all of them. What was your worst experience? I'll hop to that one real quick. All right, customer service wise, crew members are crew members are crew members. And if you're talking about crew members on board the ship, crew members are awesome. Oh, I love crew members at every cruise line. Mm-hmm. Every single one of them. We haven't really had a bad customer service experience. We had a hiccup with Princess. Princess fixed it. And after Princess fixed it, I did a video about it. And then I got contacted by the hotel general manager for the ship just to make sure it was fixed. So even a hiccup was fixed. I don't think we've had a bad experience. Food, there's something good on every one of them.
Yeah. They all have their goods and their bads.
Yeah, Princess has International Cafe. That's one of my favorites. Carnival has Guy's Burgers, Blue Iguana, Pizza del Capitan. Carnival's probably got the best pizza at sea.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, Princess.
Well, Gigi's did really good, but you have to sit down and order it.
Yes.
But for grab and go slices, Carnival, in my opinion, takes that cake. Sorrento's is close on Royal, but I think Carnival takes that cake. Now, Royal Caribbean, I like the promenades on Royal Caribbean. I kind of like it's all down the middle. I think it's fun. You can see from above. they've all got something really good to offer, to be honest with you. But at that point, it really depends whether or not you're going to take kids or not. And if you got kids, just stay away from some of the Holland Americas and the Princess, because the kids will not have as much to do as they would on the others. What is our worst experience? Now that one's going to make me think. We spent a lot of time really focusing on the positives.
I would say the worst, and it was out of nobody could control it. But Grander, we hit that storm, and it was pretty rough seas.
Okay.
But that, I think, would probably be the worst. I mean,
and keep in mind, some of that was on us.
Because when we booked.
Right. For Grander of the Seas, we wanted cheap as possible. So we booked a guaranteed. I'm sorry. We had booked an inside cabin on Grander of the Seas. I got the Royal up for it, and we royaled up to an ocean view cabin. When you win the Royal up for a cabin upgrade, if you're not familiar, on Royal Caribbean, you do what's called Royal up, and you can bid on cabin upgrades to go from like an interior to an ocean view or a balcony. A lot of times you can bid way less than what it costs to actually upgrade it through the website. So I usually do Royal up, throw in a bid. If I win, great, I get a room cheaper. If I don't win, not a problem, I still have a room. But on Grander, we won the ocean view, but they put us almost all the way forward. It was one of the furthest forward ocean view rooms. We hit some bad weather. It was hurricane-ish. I mean, we weren't in a hurricane, but the waves, so the bow of that ship was just smacking all over the place. And our bed was sideways instead of long ways with the ship. And our head was underneath the window. So every time the ship rocked, our head was doing this. And a little rough on the guts, that cruise. So that was, yeah, you're right. That probably was the worst.
But it was out of our control.
Yeah, the weather's out of our control, and that's what we get for doing Royal Up and not picking our own cabin. So it's part weather, part our fault. Not the cruise line's fault. I don't think the cruise lines have ever done anything to us.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. I mean, the only weird thing we got charged one time for a towel we didn't return on Royal Caribbean that we did return and didn't notice until we got home. I called Royal Caribbean and they fixed it right there on the phone. Immediately gave me the credit and refunded me the money. So, and we had the hiccup with Princess in the rooms, and boy, Princess made that right and then some. So, yeah, I mean, our bad experiences are some bad weather.
Yeah.
In an ill-placed cabin.
If you can build your own cruise ship, what would you take each cruise line to have the awesome experience?
We were just talking about this the other day. I was thinking, that would be a really cool thing if you could come up with your own cruise ship. What would we take from each one? Remember, we were just talking about that. Well, we talked about just some of the things I would take. Something that's open 24 hours a day. So I would take the International Cafe from Princess. Mm-hmm. You probably can tell we like food.
Rotational dining from Disney.
The dining room, main dining room, the theming from Disney with the rotational dining. I want the quick service options from Carnival. I want the Guy's Burgers, the Blue Iguana. Carnival just got some of the best food options on there.
You want
I want the cabin from. I want the bed in the cabin from Discovery Princess.
Yes, and you want the Coke machine from Royal.
Oh yes, absolutely. The soda machines, the Coca-Cola Freestyle machines from Royal Caribbean. Definitely want those. I like the Flow Rider off of Royal Caribbean. We're gonna have the most mismatched cruise ship out there.
Maybe do away with Formal Night.
Formal Night can go. So, not big on Formal Night. I think those would be our big things that we would. I mean, there's things I liked from Allure of the Seas from the Oasis class. I actually like the size.
We'd have something like the piano bar.
Most of them have a piano bar,
Yeah.
but yeah, got to have those kind of.
MREs are good.
Are you sure about that? Are you sure? there are some good ones. There are some that no. You know what I'm talking about. You go to get one, you look in there, and the box has been rat. You know what? Because they go pick the good ones out and they leave some of the awful ones in there. There is somebody somewhere that cooked it up and said, "I bet that we put this in a pouch and put it in this cardboard box and make it good for 10 million years. The soldiers will think it's delicious."
Entertainment. What kind of entertainment?
Oh. Now that one's. If we were going to pick entertainment, you would probably pick Disney. I think I would pick Royal Caribbean's. I like the production shows on Royal Caribbean.
I liked Princess too.
Oh, Princess was good too. Rock Opera on Princess was really
definitely.
good. I liked Mamma Mia. I liked several of them.
I liked all of them. That
The only ones I didn't, and it's not that they're bad, but I've seen the ones on Carnival enough that I don't go see them anymore. They got to change them. I've seen the latest one they came out with that I'm aware of was Flick.
And you didn't like that.
Flick. I don't think I got Flick. I think that one went over my head. Yet I liked Mamma Mia.
I like the comedy on Carnival.
We've always laughed in the comedy shows. I've been to comedy shows on Royal on the long one. I went on the night when they were doing comedy shows in the main theater.
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course, I've seen jugglers, musicians.
We've seen ice skaters.
That's true. The ice skating show on Royal Caribbean and the Aqua Theater shows on Royal Caribbean. You haven't seen that one yet. But the Aqua Theaters show are really, really good. So overall, I think I'd have to give entertainment to Royal Caribbean. Because there's just so many choices. Between the main theater and the ice skating and the Aqua show. And when I was on Allure of the Seas, they did the parade.
Mm-hmm.
And you missed that one too, but they did the parade and they had the ships out there and all the crew members were dressed up in costumes, and I don't know. I really got to give it to Royal Caribbean for their entertainment value as far as that goes.
What would you name the ship and how big?
Obviously, it would be the Chris.
I was thinking more high seas adventures.
Mine. Picture me on the bow. Me. We have a ship occupancy of 4. How big would the ship be? Is there a good ship size?
Well, you just sat there at the beginning of the show saying you like the smaller ships.
No, I said I've had a great time on the small ship, but I also had a great time on an Oasis class ship. And then we've been on some ships in the middle, and we had a great time on those.
Probably in the middle. I don't want too big.
That is a tough one. I think you have to sail on Harmony before you can decide. I'm going to take Tiffany on Harmony of the Seas because she hasn't been on an Oasis class and let you give an honest opinion of Oasis class. Because I thought, these things are huge. It's going to be super crowded. Long lines for everything. And I think the Oasis class for me had less lines than a lot of the other ships I've been on. I think you could spread out enough that the lines weren't very long. I didn't stand in line for the buffet. Now, granted, you have to make reservations for the shows, some of the shows on Oasis class, because they're so big. But as long as you make your reservation early and you get to the theater early so you get your choice of seats, because that line starts lining up about 45 minutes before show starts, You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you, Linda. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, so that that's honestly a tough one because I like them all sizes. Sometimes for me it's really hard to decide because I have not met a cruise ship I just absolutely hated. I have not come across one and said I don't ever want to sail on this again. The closest I've ever come is I'm not real fond of the layout of the Vista, um, of Carnival Vista, and I think a lot of that has to do with the atrium. I think it's too closed in.
Mm-hmm.
I like them when they're bigger, taller, and more open. So, but I have yet to get on one that I didn't like. I found something I like about everyone we've been on. We've come across more positive than negatives for every single cruise and every single cruise line. I really think that if you go into cruising, or how we go into cruising is, look, we're going on a cruise. It is going to be a good day.
Yes.
And
I saw a post today that said it's cloudy on this cruise, but I'd rather wake up to a cloudy day on a cruise than wake up on a cloudy day going to the office.
yeah, I'm fine if it's raining, all that kind of stuff, just to be on a cruise ship.
I haven't been on celebrity ships, but I hear their newest ones feel like they're less crowded due to design. I'd like that part, a less crowded version of a nice ship with great entertainment.
Yeah,
Exactly.
now, since we haven't been on Celebrity, I can't include them in what I think is best, but I have heard great things about Celebrity. And what we think is the perfect cruise ship may change. When we do Virgin, it may change because there's some stuff that Virgin says they do. I like the sound of it.
Mm-hmm.
When we do Norwegian, that could change us. Celebrity could give us a whole different opinion. The Edge class ships, I've heard awesome things about those Edge class ships. And I've heard the entertainment is top notch, the crew is top notch, the food is top notch. So, excuse me. It's really hard to say. And it's really hard to pick one that is absolutely the best. And it's even harder to pick one that's we had a bad experience and didn't like. Because, like Tiffany said, any day we're on a cruise is just a good day.
Yes.
It is honestly just a good day. I love just being on the ocean. And so we always try to go on a different cruise ship every time. Going out of Galveston, we don't always get a different itinerary, but we get a different ship every time. So it's always a new adventure.
Yeah, and the prices are top notch too.
That's true. That's true. But, you can get a much more all-inclusive package on Celebrity Cruise Lines. So it actually, I thought about that the other day too, and I probably want to sit down. I think I'll sit down when I get time, maybe this weekend, and I kind of want to do the math. Because if you book on Celebrity, and you can get things like your gratuities and your Wi-Fi and your drink packages and all that in the price up front, and then you book on a very similar cruise, same number of days, ports, ship size, and everything, but let's say Carnival, where you see the base price, how much is really more expensive is it when you add everything up? So,
Heard Carnival is doing a nude cruise.
That's actually supposed to be on the Pride, and the Pride just went into engine problems. But it's the nude cruise is a chartered cruise, and they do that naked people cruise, charters Carnival every couple years, I think. It's been a while since I heard, but yeah, they do a naked people cruise on Carnival.
So that's okay though. You pay for the great services, and that's fair.
Right, but if you, like I said, if you compare the base price to one and what you get with all the others, I want to do the math to see exactly how far off those two are. Are they really so far off that makes Celebrity expensive? I mean, yeah, you get a little bit of that upfront sticker price, that sticker shock, and then you look over at Carnival and you're like, oh, Carnival's, $300, $400. but that's before you get anything.
Yeah.
That's absolute bare minimum. And then you look at some of the others that include a bunch of stuff, and the price is higher. Which one is actually coming out on top?
Desiree said, yes, it's beautiful being on a cruise ship, sailing the seas. It's such a wonderful experience. That's why I cruise yearly.
Me too. I cruise yearly.
I know. You would cruise weekly if you could.
Oh, absolutely. Right now, I'm working on cruising monthly. 2024, I'm looking for monthly.
Have fun.
I did 7 last year, 5 so far this year. I want 12. Then I'm going to make a calendar of me on 12 cruise ships. I'll wear a Santa hat for December. I'll wear a hat. In each month it has a holiday, I'll wear that hat on the cruise ship. And it'll be a calendar.
You're going to have Hallmark in the background for December.
Yeah, dumbass of the sea.
Watch your mouth. About the prices and different cruise lines. Oh, I remember you telling me all about it, Chris, and it made a lot of sense.
Yeah. Now, as I said, I need to physically do the actual math and be like to compare it side by side. But a lot of times, that's why they blame. It is it's true to a point, but they'll say some cruise lines nickel and dime you. They nickel and dime you. Well, that price that they give is just a baseline price, and you want this and you want that, they're going to charge you for it. That's how you can find a cruise for $200-300 per person. You're going to pay for all this other stuff if you're an experienced cruiser. But a lot of brand new cruisers don't realize that. And so they get excited, they book it, they get on board the ship, and now it's like, now I got to pay for this, now I got to pay for that, now I got to pay for this, I got to pay for this kind of food. They feel like they're getting nickel and dime.
Mm-hmm.
Completely get it.
Andre says you're going to retire and live on a cruise ship for life. That's his goal.
It is my goal. It's cheap. You guys know it's cheaper to retire and live on a cruise ship than it is to go to an assisted living facility. You can live on a cruise ship and get all the food and a room steward full time, and it's a lot of times it's less expensive than it is to stay in someplace else.
Desiree said, "Go ahead with your bad self."
Hey, my calendar will sell. It may be all to me, but it'll. Guess what everybody's getting for Christmas gifts that year?
Oh.
What? I'm thinking ahead. I'm planning for the future. I've got to pay for all these cruises somehow.
Yes, you do.
The Chris cruising calendar. Okay. And as long as they don't get to July when it's really hot, they won't see Speedo month.
Pricing discussion is great, paying a lot more in luxury lines, but it can be set up to be a single price for everything. No add-ins, just one price, that's it.
I agree. But even, Carnival has said they're probably not going to do that. Because people have asked them, how about doing something like Princess has? They're your sister line. Offer something like Princess Plus. Right now, Carnival comes back and says, no, we have no plans for that in the future. I think that they are very, very happy being a lower cost cruise line. And their bookings are up. Their bookings are high. And their ships are full every time they're sailing. So they've got no reason to change. Someone making a Speedo joke.
Andre says you better become a stripper to pay for your cruises.
I've considered that because I am willing to bet that people will pay me to put my clothes back on. See? And this is my wife. She's like, yep, I got $1 right here. Put it back on. That's how I'll do it. I will run around the Lido deck with as little clothes while the crew members chase me, and people can pay me to put clothes back on. I will stand by Guy's Burgers in a Speedo. I will have paid for 12 cruises in 30 minutes. Like, sir, here. I want to eat. But, all right. We have gotten so far off topic. And apparently they have a calendar coming out now. But does anybody else have any other questions, concerns, comments? Anything else they would like to throw out for us tonight?
Yeah, I heard that too. It's a little bit annoying, but it sure does fill the ships.
It absolutely does. So some of us experienced cruisers may not agree with Carnival's business model, but it sure works for Carnival.
Klondike says you guys are fun and we enjoy the cruise talk. Have a good evening.
Yeah, we do talk about more serious things on occasion. And sometimes we just get on here and just goof off and have goofy cruise talk. But part of that too is this is our opportunity to get people that leave comments on our videos on a regular basis all in one spot, and we can all talk together.
Yes.
Until we reach that opportunity, we can all be together on one cruise ship someday. This is a great opportunity. We can all come together and talk and laugh and share. And so, yeah, we do act goofy and have fun on here.
Yeah.
So we are serious at times, but not all that often. I'll be upfront and honest with you about that. But good night, everybody. We really appreciate everybody coming. Like always, we love having you guys here. Wednesday is the highlight of our week when it comes to cruise talks. Because like I said, we get to come on here and have a ton of fun with everybody. And so other than that, we really appreciate it. Everybody have yourselves a really good night. And like always,
We'll see you out on the high school.